Hey guys, let's get more news from Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Heat's Eric Spoelstra has blunt review of win versus Hornets after horrible basketball. The Miami Heat beat the Charlotte Hornets for the second straight time Wednesday night by a score of 115-104. Head coach Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, and Kyle Lowry spoke after the game to talk about the performance the collective unit had, but also tackling the unusual scheduling the team faces. Before the game, Spoelstra said to Clutch Points that one of his goals was to beat the same team twice in a row. Miami got the job done in that facet as the head coach called it a little opportunity to take the next step. The game started horrendously for the Heat in the first quarter as they committed 9 turnovers and played very sloppy, but fortunately, so was Charlotte. They would end up finishing the first half on a positive note as Spoelstra told the media that everybody got the horrible basketball out of them in the second half. You look for all these little opportunities for your team to take another step. We haven't been able to do it this year. It's a small thing. It's not everything, but it's something, and we wanted to be able to do that tonight. It was a pretty ugly first half. We basically went into halftime telling everybody to take 5 big breaths and just let out all that horrible basketball and see if we can come out and play a much better second half, and I thought we did, Spoelstra said. The third quarter was much more intentional. And then they made a run probably from the 9-minute mark to the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter, but I thought the group that was out there stabilized, and it was important for them to go through that and find a way to finish it off. One of the Heat's key contributors was starting point guard Kyle Lowry, who scored 17 points. He said that despite finishing the first half with 14 turnovers, they concluded the half well with scoring 13 straight points and putting star Jimmy Butler into the right spots. I think we finished the first half extremely well. I know we turned the ball over, but I think in the last 2:32 we went on a 11-0 run, so we kind of balanced it out and figured out how to play, Lowry said. And we got Jimmy, Butler, the ball in the right positions and the right spots. He made plays tonight and he got 10 assists, so when you put him in a spot to be successful like that, he don't have to score. He made us all better. The Heat built up a sizable lead going into the fourth quarter, and the microscope was put under them to see if they would blow another big lead. They sustained it for the most part, though the Hornets made it slightly interesting, taking their deficit down to 9 points. However, Miami would quickly build their lead back up and close the game out. In fact, Butler and Lowry sat out the last 5 or so minutes of the game as Spoelstra wanted extra minutes for the second unit. Butler, who scored 15 points, expresses his confidence with the young players and said he sees the work they put in behind the scenes. I mean, we have to be confident. We see the work that they put into it every day. But we also know we have a tendency to give up leads if we're brutally honest. I'm glad they closed out the game strong, Butler said. Taking and making good shots a majority of the time, but it's good to see them gain confidence, and you know that moment to know that it's on you to win the game, and they did it, and don't matter if it's by 1 or 21. They had the lead and we won. Robinson scores 23 points, Heat top Hornets 115-104 to finish off home-and-home sweep. Sweeping a 2-game set hasn't been easy for the Miami Heat, and changing that was on coach Eric Spoelstra's mind Wednesday night. His team responded. Duncan Robinson scored 23 points, Jamie Jaquez Jr. and Kyle Lowry each added 17, and the Miami Heat beat the Charlotte Hornets 115-104, finishing off a 2-game home-and-home series that started on Monday. We haven't been able to do it this year and, not many teams have been able to do that, Spoelstra said, noting that Miami had gone 1-1 in its other 2-game series opportunities this season. It's a small thing. It's not everything. But it's something. Lowry was perfect, shooting 5 for 5 from the floor, 4 for 4 of those on 3-pointers and 3 for 3 from the line. Jimmy Butler had 15 points and 10 assists, and Jamal Cain added 14 points for the Heat. Thomas Bryant finished with 11. Robinson made 6 3-pointers, tying his season best. The Heat are 8-1 when he makes at least 4 3-pointers this season. These guys put a lot of pressure on the defense in the paint, Robinson said. It's helped me to kind of move without the ball and find a window. Terry Rozier scored 28 points for Charlotte, which got 20 points from Gordon Hayward, 19 from Miles Bridges, and 18 from Brandon Miller. The Heat had a 45-13 edge in bench scoring and a massive edge in points off turnovers. They turned 21 Charlotte giveaways into 32 points, while the Hornets turned Miami's season high of 22 turnovers into only 13 points. "They were going to create a lot of turnovers," Hornets coach Steve Clifford said. "I think we had 8 in the first quarter. You know, we were better in the second quarter until the end. But they were good at it. We had some careless ones. It's a big part of what they do." The Heat were again without Bam Adebayo, hip, Haywood Highsmith, back, and Tyler Herro, ankle, plus saw Josh Richardson miss the game with a non-COVID illness. There may be hope for Herro to return soon, given that he posted a video of himself shooting on the Heat game court Tuesday night. The Hornets lost P.J. Washington to a left shoulder injury. He played 4 first-half minutes and did not return. Charlotte was also without LaMelo Ball, ankle. For the 7th straight game, the Hornets are 2-5 since he got hurt, and Mark Williams, back, for the 3rd time in the last 4 games. Charlotte scored the opening 4 points in the game's first 17 seconds, tying the quickest start to a game this season. And that 4-point lead was also the largest the Hornets would enjoy at any point in the game. The middle 2 quarters were all Miami. The Heat outscored the Hornets 69-47 in those 24 minutes. NBA, LeBron reflects on his time with the Miami Heat. "I did what?" About to take the court against the Miami Heat at the Kaseya Center in Florida, Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James reflected on his time with the Miami franchise, where he played between 2010 and 2014, winning 2 titles. NBA alongside Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. "I was 25 years old when I arrived here. I was still a kid, even though I had been in the NBA for 7 years. I was still a child," said the winger, after training with the Angel team this Monday, 6. LeBron arrived at the Miami Heat during his free agency in 2010, after 7 seasons with the Cleveland Cavaliers. At the time, the player was the target of numerous criticisms from fans for leaving the project to go after his first title away from his home state. "I came here for one reason, to win championships. This was my only goal. I felt like I couldn't do it in Cleveland. I tried to recruit some guys to come to Cleveland, but it wasn't happening. So, I had an opportunity during free agency and I did what I thought was best for my career," said the star. In 4 consecutive appearances in the finals with Miami, the player saw the birth of the career of Eric Spoelstra, who contributed to the beginning of the culture mantra within the squad. According to LeBron, philosophy wasn't discussed much during his time with the team. "We didn't talk about it much. You just had to come, do your job, and the product of how hard you worked was paid on the court," he stated. But, the word has become part of the identity of the current cast. For the King, the philosophy is due to the longevity of important figures, such as Pat Riley and the coach himself. "Apart from the San Antonio Spurs, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots, I think these are the only franchises that you can say have stability like the Miami Heat," he said. After leaving the Miami Heat in 2014, LeBron James would still win 2 other rings, in 2016 with the Cleveland Cavaliers and in 2020 with the Los Angeles Lakers. 9 years later, Spoelstra still continues as the team's head coach, reaching the finals twice, 2020 and 2022, becoming the second longest-serving coach in the NBA, behind only Greg Popovich. And you fan, what do you think of the LeBron James situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.